coordinator. And for those of you who are, I see a lot of familiar faces, but some new faces. The Cape and Vineyard Electric Cooperative is the sister organization to the Cape Light Compact, which is our energy aggregator and our extraordinary energy efficiency, gets all of our energy efficiency programs going on the Cape and Martha's Vineyard. Thank you. Don't point it there, point it there. Okay, let's see, how do we do this? Might not have a battery. Oh, what did you do? Oh, on the back, okay. So the Cape and Vineyard Electric Cooperative, which was founded in 2007 to do renewable energy, has been pretty successful. I'm going to try to go fast, but I want to make sure I give you at least some basics. We have PV initiatives that we have completed. CVEC 7 with 750 kilowatts on a lot of school roofs. 2011, we had CVEC PV initiative round 1, which is 16 megawatts on the capped landfills. A lot of you see them when you go to the transfer station. You see the PV spread out all over the capped landfills. And then we have about 12 megawatts on some more capped landfills and some school roofs. The DY school district participated in round 2 heavily. As planned, we have excess net metering credits from round 1 and round 2. And the beauty of net metering credits is they are worth money. So for every kilowatt hour of green electricity that is produced, whether it's photovoltaics or wind, the state has an incentive that requires the utility to pay 14 or more cents per kilowatt hour for the green electricity. Meanwhile, through the beauty of what are called power purchase agreements, we have vendors building the installations, PV and wind, and for that we pay them a fee, which is a power purchase agreement fee. So the simple math is through the state's benefit of 14 cents, even though we have to pay to get these things built, we're realizing a 2-cent net benefit minimally per kilowatt hour. That's the reason all the schools and the towns and the counties are going forward with these projects. We came to Monomoy School District last spring with an opportunity to participate in these programs. Even though you weren't building anything here, because we had excess, we can give you some of those net metering credits. And Monomoy School District chose to participate, if you will recall, in what we call a power sales agreement. The other off-takers of these net metering credits are listed here. We are back. CVEC is back to discuss with our off-takers an amendment to the power sales agreement, same one that you signed back in June. Actually, for you it was August. We had to create 2 production pools with Monomoy School District coming on board. We only had certain projects that we could actually siphon off our excess net metering credits to Monomoy School District, because you were not a CVEC member, nor can you be a CVEC member, by the way. Otherwise, we would have taken you into the fold. It's a tax regulation. But we had to create 2 pools and give excess net metering credits to our CVEC members from CVEC projects and excess net metering credits to our non-CVEC members from the non-CVEC projects. And that's sort of spelled out in the contracts. So that was not in your original contract. It came forward after we did our contracting. We also had a little change where for those members who asked for under 100,000 kilowatt hours, we gave them their full request. And Orleans chose at the last minute not to participate for reasons we're not clear on. But what that ended up meaning is we have now more kilowatt hours to provide to all of our participants. So when Monomoy Schools came to us, they requested 2 million kilowatt hours of net metering credits. After we were oversubscribed, and after we shuffled it around and gave everybody their portion of the net metering credits, we could only provide 411,000 from that specific pool that Monomoy School District could pull off of. But we're back now with slightly more, so that's one reason we're here, is to give you 462 instead of the 411,000. So that's one reason the amendment is going forward to you. In addition, we want you to release the 1,537,000. That's simple subtraction. 2 million minus the 462 leaves you $1.5 million. We want you to release those so we can bring more net metering credits through a new project. So those are the two aspects of the amendment that we would like you to approve, hopefully tonight. You would add the kilowatt hours to the power sales agreement that already exists, bringing it up to 462,000. And you would release the remaining kilowatt hours so that we can find you another beneficial net metering project. And just so you see some of the math, the projects that have the zeros, those are the projects that can only go to CVEC members. So that gives you an idea. It's pretty much a 3 to 6 relationship. But with the revised number of kilowatt hours from our power sales agreements for the photovoltaics, you can expect to save $13,000 in year 1 and just about $400,000 by year 20 cumulatively. So that's the benefit of these deals, and it's pretty remarkable that you don't have to do anything. So the next step is to amend the power sales agreement for the photovoltaic agreement, and we have a motion, and I think you've chosen to deal with this at the end of the meeting. So I don't know, I think I would probably want to continue and present the other option for net metering credits that we have here. Okay, and then we can discuss both and ask questions afterwards. Yeah.
We'll act on a motion now, is that?
Well, wait, let's see the.
You can
let's see the pro
separate
before
them.
we see the quid.
Yeah, there are definitely two motions.
Okay.
One is to accept the amendment, and I would defer to Scott because I'm not familiar with how you would like to, if you need to save this to the end of the meeting as an action item.
I think we can wait till the end of the presentation. So
That's fine with me.
just to to provide just a little summary. I think the reason I initially suggested that we have Liz come in this past summer was summer. It's all blurring together.
June, I
It is that this is a chance for us to make a decision that locks the district in for 20 years, but saves us 13.5% on our electricity costs. What we've done to protect ourselves from buying too much electricity is the 2 million kilowatt hours that we would be engaging in essentially is the energy usage of the schools other than this new building. So it's about 2/3 of what we anticipate to be our energy needs in the district. It still leaves this building potentially open to some other initiative that CVEC or others might have. This building is solar ready, so we could look at a way that goes on this building at some point to further offset and support our costs. But this would allow us to save money going out. There's the contracts on these are pages and pages and pages of legal stuff that we have had. Our council has gone back and forth on and been working with Liz on and has worked through all of the concerns so that so the council feels that it's a solid contract. And I think the biggest concern that council has that we just need to understand is that if the big risk is if a building if a building that we're having net metering credits burns down, then we're potentially responsible for the
payment.
For paying the electricity that we said we were, that as I mentioned to, I think, Brian before the meeting, if the building burns down, that's probably, one of our bigger concerns. But that's, so you're engaging in this, and I know that, that Liz also expressed that CVEC, CVEC, if there's an overage that a district might have, that they would go and work with other communities to see if they would want to pick up more credits like this amendment is proposing to get us out of that bind if we have a school that no longer exists.
Mm-hmm.
Brian,
Following up on that, precise point, I know it's kind of a ridiculous example, but you should plan for the worst, right? So if something was to happen so that we were not able to use some of the electricity that we had agreed to purchase, and I understand that your organization would do everything possible to sell it to someone else. Is that
Yeah. Yeah,
stated in the contract?
it is.
Okay.
It's the term's commercially reasonable efforts
Okay.
is.
And my
basically-
follow-up question to that is, and if that wasn't successful, do we have the right to resell it?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the actual contractual language. But yeah, you can resell it under any circumstances. If for some reason you thought you wanted to resell it, even if you were to keep the buildings and I can't think of any reason you'd want to resell it because you would lose that benefit,
Well,
so.
if we're
But if you-
building
if-
short, we might want to
Right.
resell it as
So
opposed to paying
yes,
for it.
yes, and I'm gonna verify that, Scott, but I am fairly confident, you're buying this, it is yours to do with what you wish. And the other thing I pointed out to Scott too, though, is that CVEC is the members, and of course Harwich and Chatham are members of CVEC, so you have very strong advocates on the board of CVEC that have lobbied very hard for you when other entities might have said, why is Monomoy getting so many? So you're being looked out for, I should maybe say. I also want to point out that the benefits that I have illustrated in dollars, that's a minimal and a very conservative dollar value. It's the net metering credit value that is the reason to go forward with these is tied to the price of electricity, whereas the cost to the vendors for building the things is fixed. So as the cost of electricity goes up and the net metering credit values go up, you're going to see your benefit go up. But we haven't calculated a lot of that in because it's still a good deal without going into it.
So ultimately, when Liz finishes her presentation, there are two motions that she ideally would like to either see us do tonight, or we may need to reconvene depending on the calendar date by which she needs decisions made. But one is to approve the increase in net metering credits from the solar array that we approved the 400, it was 11.
462.
And it's to have,
Yeah.
to approve the increase up to the 462. The other is to get behind a wind power project that she's going to now present. And I think the importance of our district sort of making a verbal commitment to this wind power project is, as I understand it, we would be one of the largest partners in this. And we have 1.5 million kilowatt hours that we are saying we could put forward towards this. So we play an important role in that potentially moving forward.
Okay, so,
I
yes,
have one follow-up question.
Sorry, yeah.
I'm barely catching on to tweeting, so bear with me as far as
Net metering credits?
kind of a simple question. I understand why this building is not factored in, because we have no energy data on this building. However, it represents pretty close to the largest facility we have in our Monomoy region. Let's assume next year or the year after, you know where I'm headed, we have the data. Would we be eligible to have this building covered by
more
these
net
kilowatt?
metering credits?
Yes.
You could, either we find you more net metering credits to fulfill more of a load, or we help you build photovoltaics on your roof to meet your load. So the better opportunity financially would be if we help you get your own photovoltaic system on this building. And that's what Scott and I and Katie have talked about, and CVEC does not have a round 3 on the calendar, but I think starting in January, we're going to start looking at many of our towns who are coming forward and saying, well, we have a new building we're about to build. How do we get our PV on it? So, and in the same case with round 1 and round 2, we bundled our projects in order to get the best possible bid responses. We would do that again, so.
Okay, thanks.
Unlike our two towns, we don't have landfills to put photovoltaics on, but we do have a building that we at least prepped for that.
Yeah. So we are here, as we discussed, we're returning to our 9 off-takers with an additional source of net metered power. And in this case, it's a wind project. Setting it up, this is very reiterative, we are hoping you would sign the amendment which would release the 1.5 million kilowatt hours for more net metering credits from this other project. The wind project is located in Plymouth, town of Plymouth. Many people may have seen the cranberry bogs off of Route 25. It's 380 acre active cranberry farm. There's this white sailboat that was off to the side for many, many years. That's the man farm, and that's where they would want to put in 4 turbines. 95 acres per turbine is very good setbacks from all neighbors. The 33% capacity factor is important because what that says is they've done their wind studies and they know they've got enough of a wind resource there to give good production. So it's a good investment. And speaking of a good investment, since this presentation was put together, the financier who is buying the project to actually build it has come forward and closed their deal, and it's none other than Con Edison Solutions. So it's a familiar player, an energy company to all of us, and in fact, for CVEC, it gave us quite a bit of confidence to know that they think this is a great opportunity, as well as CVEC. All permitting is complete except for ministerial permits, so all of the site plan review and all of those kinds of things. Of course, you can't get a building permit until you're really ready to go in and start building. It's an Ocean Spray cranberry farm. Ocean Spray is extraordinarily excited about this. It's going to help the family keep the farm. If they can't do this, then they will have to look into selling the farm. And this is very important. The Mann family, 3rd generation cranberry farmers, are extraordinarily active, and they have young kids. They have been very interactive with school districts, and they're launching with this project an interactive website and curriculum for the local schools, math, physics, environmental science, and engineering, which I think is extraordinarily exciting for you all. The agreement is for 20 years with an option to extend, and very important to note, the power has already been sold in its entirety. They are reserving just enough for the Cape and Vineyard Electric Cooperative because they like the idea of a community energy cooperative working with a community wind project. But that's one reason we're in such a hurry, because they're not going to hold it for long. The other participants are the towns of Marion, town of Rochester, city of New Bedford. Can you hear me okay? The lot of school districts, the old Rochester Regional School District, the Upper Cape Regional Technical School, Old Colony Regional High School, and Martha's Vineyard Regional School District. I had popcorn before I came, which is always a disaster.
Don't you not like that?
Kernels. So we have arrived at a price. It is a very good price. It is a fixed price, which is not something that they were able to offer until we kind of came in and said, we're here, but you have to give us a fixed price. It's unheard of in this industry. But we have enough clout by bringing the towns together and the school district together. 11.5 cents plus a 5 cent adder for CVEC, which amounts to $15,000 a year that would go to CVEC to help us make up for our legal investment and towards managing the net metering credits to make sure everybody's getting what they're supposed to get. It's going to be a separate PSA, as we discussed. So you're going to sign the amendment, should you choose to, and then you would sign the wind power sales agreement. I have both of them here. I apologize. You may notice that we've been making many of these pitches to many different places. Yarmouth is still in there. They're also a participant. But essentially, I just want to point out that the 1.5, again, like the PV, I have to go to all my off-takers and get agreements before I know how to actually divvy it up. So at this point, we are a little oversubscribed. So I think the 1.5 will probably go down to 1.4, but you're not going to see the drastic reduction that we had to impose from the photovoltaic power sales agreement. So this time we'll come very close to filling your needs. This gives you a visual of the benefit from the solar projects that you've already agreed to. That's the column on the right. That's about 2.7 cents and on down the line. The price, the benefits you're gonna recognize from the wind project is about 2.1 cents. So it's a little lower than the PV projects, but we still know from our research that we're not gonna see the prices that we saw previous years. The industry has changed, and so this is a very competitive price. As I discussed in the previous presentation, your benefit from the PV, about 13,000, your benefit from the wind in year one, about 32,000. And then cumulatively, about 400 for the PV and about 645 for the wind. This goes into why we are not looking for more PV projects. We know that the big projects are stymied right now. There's no solar renewable energy credits to incentivize the developers. The state has basically locked the program down. And the incentives that are out there, because they're lower, the contractors are coming back with higher prices. Also, net metering, the very magic ingredient to make this work you're doing, is filled up. There is no more net metering being offered until the state re-regulates. So, should you choose to participate in the wind project, there is a hard and fast deadline of executed power sales agreements by November 17th. However, we can't wait that long, CVEC can't wait that long, because we need to get the numbers calculated so we can put the right numbers into our contracts and then get them executed. So I have asked our off-takers to get me a verbal commitment by October 25th. And that's coming up hard and fast. So that's the reason that I'm concerned